Hello, this is Story Time with Sam, and this is from my novel, Marina's Fella. I would like to read a little bit portion of this for you from chapter 19, beginning chapter 19. Now it goes like this. This is Marina. Marina looks on, gripping the stroller. The baby begins to cry. Regino walks up to the concrete incline toward his bicycle and rides off. Marina is in tears. The baby girl is crying. God sees her hurt and gives her peace later that night as she reads the Bible passage. You number my wanderings, put my tears in your bottle. Are they not in your book? Psalm 56, verse 8. It goes on to say, whenever Regino Elustrisimo was having relationship issues, especially with a woman like Marina, he would bake Filipino foods, especially the desserts. His most well-liked recipes include cassava cake, biko, which is sweet rice cake, cascoron, deep-fried coconut macaroons, and his famous peach mango apple lumpias, spring rolls. Being a third-generation filipino-american, he really didn't speak Filipino, so he didn't know the proper name for peach mango lumpia. All he knew was that it was a recipe his mother would always wanted him to experiment with, telling him that she loved growing up eating peach fritters while being babysat by her babysitter, Mrs. Peggy, while her own mother went out to work in the migrant fields cutting asparagus and picking fruit. All right, that's a little bit from the novel Marina's Fella, and this is hot off the press. It just came out. If you can get a chance, look for it online. It's at Amazon.com. It's at Create Space. This is a large print version. If you can tell, it's not the smaller version which I had a few weeks back, which was with the pink cover. So that goes on to tell a little bit more. I'm not supposed to, as a writer, as an artist, I was always told, just give them a glimpse. Don't tell them the whole story. But I do want to stress to the fact is that this is a fictional book, but I've taken a lot of stories from my past, from my family's history, and put them in there. One of the persons that I did put in there was a character based upon my mother's babysitter. She was an African-American woman who took care of my mom while my grandmother was working in the fields, cutting asparagus and picking fruit and doing whatever she had to do, provide for her family. Coming from that perspective, have been raised with basically as having a babysitter, spend a lot of time with her in the African American community. My mother felt, and my grandmother to that extent, what I was told was she felt very comfortable in every situation she was in, whether she was in a Pentecostal church, whether she was fishing, whatever she was in. I would hear stories of her having a lot of good memories, a lot of good things from her culture as far as the foods go. That's where I get my love of the foods, is from my mother, who was taught by my grandmother, who came from Cebu, Philippines. And a lot of the recipes, what I was told were good recipes, were cascaron and lumpia and biko and bibingka and all the good stuff. That I've incorporated a lot of my culture into the story. I was told I was second generation, not third generation Filipino American, but I don't want to discount what my parents, my grandparents, what they had to go through to say that they weren't Americanized. I don't agree with that. I believe that they came to the United States for a reason. They became citizens for a reason. They didn't spend the rest of their life in Stockton, California, United States of America, unless there was something greater for them compared to back home in the Philippines, in Cebu and Bohol. Now, what I do want to stress is the fact is that there's a duality, sometimes a plurality when it comes to this book identifies, and it's still a novel, but it goes into what is culture, what heritage do you have, what is your history. One thing, this is a Christian book. One thing that I do want to stress is the fact is that when people ask, what are you? Are you Filipino? Are you Filipino-American? Are you a Christian? Are you a discriminator? And I'm like, no, I'm not a discriminator, so don't pick up no sticks and try to hit me. But I am a Christian, and I am a Filipino that has have looked into the past of the indigenous beliefs of my heritage, and I realize what they really are. They're pagan beliefs. You can't say that they're not pagan beliefs if you're from the perspective of being a Christian. But the thing is, you don't just throw it out and not acknowledge that. I'm glad I acknowledged those issues. I'm glad I acknowledged the issues with the history of the food. Later on, chapter 20, you guys will find out that the main babysitter, that her great-great-grandson, he goes off and plays football. What he does with his life later on, it talks a little bit about that. So I'm just going to end it right here, and we'll start up the next video and pretty soon. Okay, until next time, I will see you later. And get this book if you can. It's only $10 plus shipping and handling. All right.